Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Shannon over here, and what we're talking about is electric cars. Sorry I've been out for a bit, had COVID. But we're going to get to some reasons here. And the first one is obviously the headline that EVs are slow. Now, they might not be slow when they're fully charged and you have the power, yada, yada, yada. But they are slow because you can only use so much of that power until your battery gets completely drained or wherever you're going. Say you're out and you might have a few runs at it or whatever, but the more power, obviously a lot more power that you use, like the Plaid and stuff like that, it dramatically reduces the longevity, the miles of the vehicle. So that's why I say they're slow, because you can only use so much of it and then you're done. It's like wham bam thinking, man, now either you're going to go to a charging, like, guys, I'll be back, I'll race you, I got to go charge my car for an hour, or you got to go home. You're only good for so many runs and then that's it. Say you've been driving for a while, your battery range is at 30 miles an hour. You pull up to somebody and you're like, yeah, I'm on my Plaid. Are you really going to? And maybe you're not around a charging station real quick, or you don't want to risk it, so you can't just go to a gas station to fill up real quick. So are you going to race the guy, or are you going to take off quick, or that's where I say that they're slow, because they might be fast, but they're slow. They're slow in the charge. They're slow in all the other aspects. It's like you have a short window of, doing this types of runs or using all that power. And then, you're pretty much like, you constantly, that's going to be constantly on your mind is, what range I have, where I'm going to charge. This is why EVs completely suck. But that's like the big, I would say the big number one topic is that's why I think that they are slow. I mean, every time you want to hit it or goose it or feel that power, you're going to be drawing a lot more energy and losing those miles that you need. Now, moving on to the next topic, as far as safety, I'm going to show you a couple clips here. As far as how safe and reliable these cars are. Yep. Plenty of this going around, just battery just lighting up. I mean, that lithium, man, it's like a ticking time bomb, and there's no stopping. That car will stay on fire. You have to actually submerge it in water for like 3 hours. Now, that's crazy. Once it's done, it's done. But lithium actually reacts. A little piece of lithium reacts to water like a bomb. Like, you just throw a little piece of lithium in a puddle, it's gonna snap like a bank snap. Just a little tiny piece from a battery. Imagine a whole car. This poor guy, his whole battery fell out of his car. That's crazy. I know it's probably China or something like that, but still, like, when the whole thing just falls out of your car and your car just, that's it. Man, I don't get it. So that's another one on my list as far as EVs are just, besides just not being as fast as people think they are and all this other stuff. Yeah, they're quick, but for a very short time. You always got to worry about your charging, but the reliability is just so low on these cars. Some people might say, well, I've had a good experience, but when you put it all together, they're just not very reliable. Once something does happen, and it does, it's just that you're just stuck. Oh, for the people that don't believe me about the lithium, I'm going to show you a little bit of a video here, what lithium can do when it's not all the time, but a lot of the times it hits water.
To pop off its shell. Now I can unroll its insides and reveal the thing that scares me. It honestly doesn't look like much, but it's a bunch of lithium metal, and it's extremely reactive. The metal itself technically isn't what scares me, though, and it's what can happen if it's added to water. Normally, it just fizzles a bunch and maybe lights on fire. In this foil form from the battery, though, it can sometimes be a bit more reactive.
All right, guys, that's, I wanted to do a little personal video after my video. So, yeah, I mean, the first part is obviously Teslas are fast, but they're just not fast. I mean, they're not fast on recharging. Depending on where you're going, you're still waiting, freaking 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on how much you have to charge it. Maybe even more, 45 minutes, especially if you're at a house, probably take a lot longer. And it's always going to be in your mind. It's like, yeah, you want to feel that speed. Every time you want to feel that speed, or you want to goose it, or say you got like a Turbo 4 or a V8 or something like that. I mean, you're not worried. You can drive around and goose it all you want and blah, blah, blah. You're just going to stop at a gas station. You're going to refuel real quick. And you're going to be, a couple minutes or so, you're going to be on your way. And that's why I say Teslas are slow. Because you only got so much time to be fast. And then you're done. One and done. And then the other one is, how unreliable they are. That's why I like EVs this whole EV push. I just don't see it. It's there, but not there for me. I mean, yeah, Tesla's doing pretty good. Whatever people that buy, congratulations or whatever. But you got to keep in mind as far as the lithium and why these cars explode. And not a lot of people that buy these cars realize what, you have a huge, and it's just that explosion was from a little piece of battery from a AA battery, and a piece of it, just a piece of it, that did that explosion. So you can see what a huge ass battery underneath the car can do. Especially like you think about off-roading, they seal the batteries. I'm like, hey, if you want to trust going off-road or whatever, you want to trust any type of anything, that's still a bomb. I mean, you could be driving and blah, 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 and say some water gets in there, and you're just not aware of it. And you're just driving, all of a sudden it starts smoking, and boom, it is a bomb. And you got to rely on, they're going to say, people are like, oh, gasoline, vehicles, they have gasoline. Yeah, but we all know how gasoline works. I can go through this huge explanation as far as how, pretty much how it burns and everything else. But I think we all know because we've been driving gas cars for God knows how long. Totally different story. And usually if you have a fire or something like that, you have plenty of time. It's usually an engine fire. It's the only time I think I've ever seen a gas tank explode is on a Pinto. And even then it was like the car was on fire in the rear, but it wasn't like a bomb explosion. It's like it ignites and then it just has a slow burn and yada yada yada, or an engine fire. But you have plenty of time to get out of the car, yada yada yada. But it will never detonate like a lithium battery would. Excuse me, a lithium battery would. And that shit will just go. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, but that's pretty much it. I just don't see the whole, I think gas-powered cars are still the way to go. I think all we need, we love the sound, we love real engines, and still to this day, gas-powered cars, as far as speed, gas-powered cars are still faster. I think they always will be. You go all the way down the tree to a top fuel, and I don't think an EV is ever going to get there. We'll see what happens, but you're probably going to need a shitload in, like the car is going to be long as hell with probably like 20 motors, and it's probably good for one pass before the battery's done. But that's just, I'm thinking off the top of my head. But that's it. I mean, you're driving around ticking time bombs. It charges, it takes time to charge the damn thing, and they're just unreliable. They have so many issues, and when they break down, you can't move, you can't put it in drive, you can't put it in neutral, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just to me, it's like a flashlight you just throw out. And the retail too. The retail, once that battery's done, $20,000, $30,000 for a battery. Like, are you really gonna pay that? And then even if you were to pay that, you would have to resell the car, and at that time it's like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. What is it going to be worth? It's not really worth it, in my opinion, unless you keep driving the car, and they replace the battery and you're just stuck with that. Like, that's the horrible part about it. I just whoever buys an electric car, I feel bad for you if you're not leasing one and giving it back, which I would do. At that point, you're better off just driving like a hybrid or something like that they have. And a hybrid is a lot more reliable. Even though it still has a lithium battery, it's a lot smaller. It's in the back somewhere, and I never heard of the smaller ones. They're inside, they're not outside usually. They're inside the compartment of the vehicle and its area. As far as the higher hybrids, most of the vehicles still have old school. As far as the battery underneath, they got old school. Still got old school batteries. Just top them off with water or whatever. But those are a lot of points to EVs and electric cars. Is that they're just not fast when they can't be. There's like a period of time where they are fast and they're not. And that worriment, it's just a huge worriment of driving one of those vehicles. To me, would be, is something going to happen? How far can I go? Where's the next charging station? Is the charging station broken? Who knows? That's happened too. EVs, they stopped at a charging station and nozzles are broken, or there's other people EVs charging and they're waiting. So not only are they waiting to charge their car, they're waiting for the person to stop, to be done. You could be there an hour or more. It's happened. I've seen it on plenty of times on YouTube. Guys like, this one's broken, this one's being used, and now I'm waiting. And I'm like, that's just, in a fast-paced moving world, it's just not feasible, in my opinion. If there's ways to recharge the vehicle, if we get somewhere with the batteries not exploding and burning your car down, burning your whole vehicle down, if there was a way to continuously charge your car as you're driving, I think one company, I even had the idea, the one company had it the best as far as the whole EV thing. The one company that had it the best was they had a solar panel on the roof. They had 2 battery systems, and what the batteries, like, they would use one battery, and then when that battery was low on power, it had an onboard generator that worked with the solar panel to charge one battery at a time. So it would use one battery, and then when that got low, it would switch over to the other battery while it charged the first battery. So that technology is here now, by the way, and they will never put it in production. And in a lot of ways, they will never put it in production, because if they think that we're switching from oil to electricity, they want to still have some type of way to control fuel for you to move around. That's the big one. There was this guy, it's on YouTube. He made it's like an 80s video. It's still on YouTube, and it's a guy who made a car that uses a magnetic motor, a mag engine. And once it's running, it's done. Like, you can literally just unplug it and it'll still keep going. Never run out of power. It's a magnetic motor. So, and then he just shortly died after he made the video. So that's what I'm saying, is that, like, they, when it really boils down to, as far as the whole EV thing, they already have the technology, they already have the ideas, they already have all that stuff like that for a vehicle to charge itself. But you still, no matter if a vehicle charges itself or whatever and it's full electric, you still have to replace the battery, you still have to worry about everything that's powering it. If something breaks on it, yada, 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 and the retail value and everything down the road if you decide to buy one and keep it. And when it comes to all that stuff that I just mentioned through the video, through what I mentioned now, they're basically like a flashlight car that it's like, it's rechargeable. It's in a sense, it's almost like a lot of stuff, even our phones. Our phones are, they only unless you get it rebuilt. No, what you do is you buy you have it for 2 or 3 years or so. Maybe it lasts, maybe it won't, as far as the battery. Some people have had good experiences. Some people, their battery took a shit in the first 2 years, and they end up just getting a new phone because the battery costs just to replace it and rip your phone apart and everything else. They're just like, just throw it back out. Now they do make their way down, is what happens, to cheaper companies that rebrand the phones, or they redo them, and then they sell them for a lot cheaper than what they were worth. I mean, even though phones, well, everything pretty much almost devalues. But is that we're going to see with cars? It's these EV cars. I mean, how much time do we have when technology moves forward, and then the battery goes and you're spending $20,000-$30,000, excuse me, Cameron, $20,000-$30,000 on a car that's not even worth it anymore, and the warranty's out and everything else. And do you think anybody out there is going to be like, well, did you put a new battery in it? And it's like, yeah, but like, you got to worry about everything else. And the technology's out of date, maybe, or whatever. But you got to worry about everything else. Now, mechanically inclined people that have combustion engines, like I have a 2003 Dodge Durango, I can work on it all day long by myself. If it needs something or whatever, I know the vehicle. I don't have to take it to a shop for the most part. And the most common people lease and they just throw the car back. I mean, I understand about that or whatever else. But and not everything is perfect as far as combustion engines and stuff, because they got their technology. They got their technology in there too. That mixed technology as cars driving themselves and everything else. So you got all that stuff is put in there as far as all that crap. But a full EV, I will never buy one. I will never, it won't. I don't care how fast they go. I don't care how much technology they shove into it. It's never going to happen. I'd rather stay old school without all this crap, without cars trying to drive themselves, without hands-free. I wouldn't trust any of that stuff. The only time I would trust that is the only safety feature I would want in a car that should be there is if the car detects that you're falling asleep. That's pretty much it, in my opinion. I don't mind for a lot of people that automated stops and people aren't paying attention, like it stops, or the warning, the blind spot monitoring. There is certain things in the cars that I always say that are very good. But definitely, if you're falling asleep at the wheel or something like that, and the thing detects that you're nodding off, it takes control and wakes you up or something like that. That's obviously a good safety feature if it was just there. It's not doing it all the time, like it's driving all the time for you the whole time, but some type of system like that is those types of systems are good. But I'm still old school, I know how to drive. I know how to drive, so I don't need all that crap. And if I'm tired, I pull over. As simple as that. I just don't keep going. I pull over, take a 5, take a 10, drink a coffee or something like that, and then that's it. That's the way you do it. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. But that's my, several reasons why Teslas aren't fast. And then obviously I added a lot of, besides that, a lot of other crap that can go wrong with them, whatever else. But that's my, that's my reason for not only aren't they fast, but they're just terrible vehicles in my opinion. Just awful vehicles. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys later.